Hope everybody's having a great Friday night. I know I am. I'm having a great Friday night. Headed back from the office. Long week. It's been all about execution. And question for you guys is, did you grow your brand this week? What did you do to grow your brand this week? Just had a conversation with Brian, who I work with, runs our social media daily, and we were talking about all the stuff that we learned this week. You know, all the really kind of new things that are out in social media, new techniques that we're applying. It's really great. Really great week overall. Just, you know, it's really just about growing your brand, moving forward. How did you do that this week? How did you do that? Let me tell you what we did with our clients. We really moved into video this week. We wanted last year, we said we want to move up our content production in video, and we want to do, double, triple, quadruple the amount of video that we normally do. And we want to start making video part of everything that we do. This video is really getting the engagements. So this week we shot about 20 pieces of video content. It was great. It went really great. It was for a book launch. We did that, and got to see a bunch of friends and some clients that we work with. That was just a lot of fun. We probably shot another hour and a half worth of video, and moving in next week, over the next 2 weeks, gonna be flying out to Vegas to shoot some video. And then we really focused on how to get a lot of clients that typically would not do video. Let's say they're a product company and they don't really have a spokesperson or an owner of the company that feels comfortable doing that. How are we going to get them in a video? What are people talking about today? And I've had a lot of clients, especially in the help business. There's a lot of conversation about possibly blogs being dead. And I don't think blogs are dead. But I think it's, how do you take that blog and a daily video post, or break it up into different areas, and be able to talk about that blog that you did. So, for example, we wrote some stuff about thyroid, right? So what did we do? We're going to break that up into commentary. So it's about taking that content, chopping that content up into even smaller pieces, growing that content. Right? What you don't want to do is you don't want to write something and just put it out there. What you want to do is you want to write it, you want to support it by promoting those posts. Now, how do you do that? Well, you could just do it with some regular little video, your commentary on it. You can then do a Facebook Live on it. You then can turn back around and talk about questions that people have on it, right? Ultimately, what you're going to be trying to do is you're going to want to pull people into a lead funnel, and you want to pull them off of social media ultimately. And then this is the big $1 million thing. You want to get their email addresses, right? So that's really the strategy. But everybody's like, I can't create this much content. I can't create it, and I do, because we make content for a living. And we have full staff of people creating it. So what are you going to do in order to up your game with the same amount of time or a little bit more time? Well, you're going to do what CNN does, what Fox News does, what ABC, what CBS. They do a special report, then they sit around and talk about it for 3 or 4 hours. If you notice, if you watch CNN, they maybe have 10 pieces of core content, and then they sit around and talk about it all day and recycle that over and over and over again. So what you want to do is you want to use the strategies that the big guys do, but you want to deploy it in a much more effective way. Now, we're going to be putting out weekly content out. And if you guys haven't seen this, go back to at Talent Branded on Facebook. You could see July 9th, the book launch. We just did a big book launch for a book publisher and one of our clients. And we kind of broke down that whole process of us doing it, what happened, how we led up to do it, what our thoughts were, right? And then we probably created three or four, maybe even 5 pieces by the end of it that are all going to be supporting about kind of what we learned on this, right? So take that core piece of content and then cut that up into different areas, comment on it, ask people to ask questions about the content, answer those, do a Facebook Live about the whole thing. Now you've created, 3 to 4 pieces of content. Take that Facebook Live and download it. And this is for you, me. I know you're doing that. Take that and cut that up. You can see we're doing that at talentbranded.com. So go there. Thanks, Mia. That's my stuff. So if there's any questions, hit me up. I know I'm coming on at kind of a weird time here. You can hit me up, talentbranded.com. Just go to contact, hit me at any time, or instant message me. You can also find us on Twitter at talentbranded. And, come check it out. See what we're doing. All we're doing for the clients. So again, just to recap, turn one core piece of product into a bunch of different products, right? A bunch of different supporting content. Something else too is everything that you do could become evergreen content. So you might be talking about Super Bowl, but the Super Bowl's not right. Let's say you have a decorating company, right? Or you're doing something and you're talking about how to decorate your house for Super Bowl, what furniture to use, right? Well, you're not going to want to do that in April because people are talking about football or Super Bowl in April. But you could take a part of that where you're talking about, how to set the table. You can cut that up into smaller pieces. Then you're going to put that out as evergreen, right? So that's going to be the evergreen content. So now maybe you've pulled 2 to 3 to 4 pieces of evergreen content out of that. So now what you've done is you've taken that blog post, you've cut that up into 3 or 4 different pieces of content. You've now gotten a couple of evergreen pieces of content on it. You also have that Facebook Live. Now you're really cooking, right? So it's really not necessarily about coming up with 5 more different topics on stuff. It's more about peeling that onion back, right? Peeling that onion back about, hey, how do I peel that back? How do I talk more about this? How do I dive in deeper? How do I look at it from a different perspective? So hope that helps, Facebook followers. Hope everybody's doing well out there. So tell me, Mia, what were the challenges that you had this week? What's some of the stuff that you were working on this week that you ran into? What worked? What didn't work? Love to hear it. Hit me up at talentbranded.com and find me on Facebook at talentbranded, at Twitter at talentbranded. And looking forward to talking to you guys. Always love getting emails from everybody. Always love getting Facebook comments. Hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. I'll be doing a couple more Facebook Lives. And thanks for tuning in. And if you see this after, if you see this at a replay, take a couple notes. Find out what you wrote, what you did in content this week that you could turn into more content next week. Implementing one of my funnels, Mia says. Yeah, man, I'll tell you, all about those funnels, all about those funnels. That's some of the hardest things to do, to be honest with you, Mia. I had a marketing company come in this week. These guys that do content, they're very successful. They do a lot of stuff. And I have to tell you, I had to break down one of their funnels, and they weren't getting conversions on it as well. It's tough sometimes. You know, they make it look like anyone could create a funnel. But the reality of the situation is there's a lot of trial and error. Anyone can create a funnel. I mean, I could create a funnel right now. Hey, give me your email address. Technically that's a funnel, right? But the more sophisticated funnels with the downstream, it's not so easy. Now you got Facebook pixels that you're embedding and you're retargeting, and you've got autoresponders. You know, it's going to take hours and hours and hours to set those up and to do the strategy, to really do them right. Especially if you got a lot of products that you're hitting downstream. But I think the big thing is with the funnels is what you gotta do. It does take a lot of work to convert. You're right. Some of the stuff with the funnels that you gotta, I think, really pay attention to is, am I being of service? You know, when somebody brings me a funnel and they say, hey, this isn't working, the first thing I do is I say, as a customer, how are you being of service to the world? How are you being of service to this person? And if you're not of service, that right there, that's a really simple way to break down a complex issue. Are you being of service? No. Well, that's why it's not working. When did you stop being of service? Is what I look at. I go, when did you stop in this funnel being of service? And it doesn't mean that you can't ask, because you got to ask for the sale, but you can't stop being of service. So I'm going to sign off, guys. Check me out at talentbranded.com. Damon Frank here. Hit me up at Twitter at talentbranded. Have a wonderful Friday night, guys. Love y'all. Bye.